And afterwards, we will now present the harmonized um, implementation framework and get feedback from participants. Then we quickly go for prayers and lunch. Then we come back and look at steps to developing a comprehensive M&E framework. We have Sunny from ABU here, who is an expert in M&E, and so he will help guide us on what things we should actually look out for while developing an M&E framework for DDR. So I'm using DDR because it's demographic research. So then we go for breakout session. There's also a template that the Bureau has already developed. And so each group will be expected to look at the template and populate those templates. Then we wrap for day 2. And then we go to day 3. We still do the routine of registration and tea. Then we do, that's recap of day 2. And then we now do the group presentation for the day 2 on the M&E template. And so each group will also develop that, present that. And afterwards, we'll clean up and finalize the M&E framework. And then we'll go for prayer and lunch. Then we'll still come back and clean up and finalize again because it's a continuous process. There will be feedbacks and all of that until we have the final presentation of a framework where we can really say we have an M&E framework for the DDR. And we take next steps, we take vote of thanks, and then we do the closing remarks. So that's what we'll be doing for the next 3 days. And so we are excited that we have critical MDAs that will be charged with implementing this very, very important document as we have them. I'm even tempted to ask the question, how many people have heard of the document, the demographic dividends roadmap, before we start? Just by a show of hands, that you know about this document from the various ministries, departments, and agencies. Have you heard about it? Yes. Okay. And so we have majority have not heard about the document. So that tells us that really we need to do a lot around raising awareness first within government. Because if the drivers of this document are not really um, uh, aware of it, then it means that we need to look at that. And so hopefully by the end of the 3rd day, we would have more than average understanding of what the Kaduna State Demographic Dividend Roadmap is all about and all the other information. So we'll go back to our agenda now, the petition of the Honorable Commissioner, so that we officially kickstart um, the event. And so I want to call on all of us. I begged my Oga, Mr. Hayes, to help us get the text of the national anthem. And this is because we're always too cautious not to allow people bite their tongue, because a lot of people are still yet to really, should I say, cram or memorize this national anthem. So please, I would want to crave your indulgence that we all rise and recite the national anthem. First stanza. So I don't know whether my own voice is the right one to lead me. So if we have a sweeter voice that can help us lead this, if not, you say? Yes, I've not also memorized it. All right. So after the count of 1, 2, 3, we can start. No tribe and tongue brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all and proud to serve our sovereign mother. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for clapping for us. All right. So quickly, because we have lost so much time, um, before we officially come back to the Honorable Commissioner, I would like to everyone to introduce themselves so that we all know who is in the room, and then we can get to properly introduce our high table guests. So I would like to start from you so that we come this way. Yes.
Honorable Commissioner, my name is Abdul and I'm also the personal assistant to that.
Thank you.
Good morning. Oh, my name is Procyon from Good morning. Oh, my name is Samaru.
All right.
Good morning, all. My name is Chava from
Yes, sir.
My name is Felix. I'm the editor of Procyon.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Delani.
Huh?
Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, everybody. My name is Kaduna. It's not with the Ministry of Business.
Good Honorable Commissioner, and good morning, everyone seated here. My name is Helen Sizer, staff of Ministry of Development.
Good morning, all. My name is Joseph Momba. I'm the Director of Economic Acquisition Statistics, Kaduna State Bureau of Statistics, standing on for this. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner, Permanent Secretary, and other participants. Uh, my name is Nicholas Samuel. I'm the Director of Final Accounts from the Office of the Accountant General, Ministry of Finance.
Good morning, all. My name is Abraham Inusa from Ministry of Business, Innovation and Technology.
Good morning, ma'am. Joseph Amadu from Kaduna State Planning and Budget Commission.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. My name is Bulus Danka Johanna. I'm standing in for the Secretary Judicial Service Commission.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner, the Permanent Secretary, other participants. My name is Mohammed Adamu, Director of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, Ministry of Local Government Affairs. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner and other participants. My name is Dividend, an Assistant Director of Planning with Kaduna State Ministry of Health.
Good morning. I'm Amos Issa from Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs.
Good morning, all protocol observed. My name is Andrew Benjamin, the manager, KSMC Capital Sound FM, represents the Ministry of Information, Kaduna State.
Good morning, everyone. I am Joyce Musa, TA to the Honorable Commissioner for Youth Development.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Usman Antoine Muhammad. I'm a staff of Kaduna State Bureau of Statistics.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amina Dani Aliyu. I head the project and technical coordination at the State Bureau of Statistics.
Okay. No, I'm audible. You are not. Wait. Okay, sorry. Haka zan yi? Okay, good morning all. So the second, I work for Life Program. You're welcome.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner, my colleagues. I'm Badamasi Musa, Director of State Planning and Budget Commission. Thank you.
My commissioner and members of this very important program. My name is Alamin Murtala Dabu, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth Development. You are all welcome. Thank you.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth Development, Kaduna State, other top government officials, their participants, the partners. Good morning, everyone. Gloria Ibrahim, the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Youth Development.
All right. So thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner Pamsek and all participants. So because we have lost much time, huh?
Introduce
No, I just since the commissioner has introduced herself, it will be out of protocol for me to do that after.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. So before then, somebody came in, so I will give him the opportunity to also introduce himself. Thank you, Honorable.
I'm Kaila Usman from the Ministry of Education.
All right. Thank you very much. And did you introduce yourself? Okay.
I told her I skipped this till now. So my name is Danjuma Martin Sabas Dangwa. I am from the Coalition of Associations for Leadership, Peace, Empowerment, and Development. Thank you. Want me to say more?
No. All right. Thank you very much. My name is Yusuf Sham. Okay. I'm the director. I coordinate the parents, yes, without consultation. Yes, I'm the executive director for sustainable development. We're part of the advocacy that pushing for the implementation of demographic dividend map in Kaduna State. So quickly, we're supposed to set up the ground rules, and I think these ground rules are very familiar to us. Every time we go for workshops and programs, these rules are there. So I'll just mention basically around having our phones on silent and also ensuring that we respect everybody's opinion, because in as much as we're here to the implementation plan as well as the M&E framework, it is also a learning event. And so it means that everybody should be able to share their thoughts and their opinions without necessarily being countered. And secondly, is to also ensure that we minimize our movements and we do not interrupt others when they speak. So any other one, I think we would, I think over them, implement them. Yes. So thank you very much. And so I want to use this opportunity to especially invite the Honorable Commissioner, Kaduna State Ministry of Youth Development, to officially give us our welcome address. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, permit me to remain seated. So, may I continue on the previously established protocol? It's a pleasure to be here once more. and to be gathered here for something that is very important and beneficial to all of us. And I'd love to welcome every one of you to this session and to this program on the development of the Kaduna State Demographic Dividend Roadmap Implementation Plan and Monitoring and Evaluation Framework. This is aimed at translating our shared vision for Kaduna's future into concrete, actionable plan. We're here because we all believe the document is relevant to the youth of Kaduna State, and that this document, when implemented, is going to help us to harness the skills and the wealth of the youth of Kaduna State. Today, we are gathered as stakeholders from government agencies, civil society, development partners, including the FCDO LAPU program, and the private sector. We are unified by the urgent needs to enhance our state's significant demographic dividends. With a youthful and rapidly growing population, Kaduna State is poised for unprecedented economic growth, poverty reduction, and improved well-being for all its citizens. This is what some of the things we hope the document will help us achieve. That by the time it's implemented, we will see a difference in the life of the youths of Kaduna State, who are the highest populace of the state. This workshop is a pivotal step in our commitment under His Excellency, Governor Basani's sustained agenda, specifically the core pillar of investing in human capital to build and empower our people for development and prosperity. Over the next 3 days, our primary objectives are clear and impactful. One, to develop a comprehensive implementation plan that aligns the demographic development roadmap with the State Development Plan, SDP 2024 to 2028, and the broader sustained agenda. Two, to establish a robust monitoring and evaluation framework to track progress effectively, identify bottlenecks, and ensure data-driven decision making. And three, to foster genuine stakeholder engagement and ownership, building the necessary capacity among all key players to ensure the successful implementation and monitoring of this vital roadmap. It is expected that after this workshop, each of us will go back to our MDAs with the mindset that the roadmap belongs to us and with the agenda of pushing it forward for the benefits of the youths of Kaduna State. Your expertise and commitment will be invaluable in shaping a roadmap that is realistic, actionable, transformative, and sustainable for generations to come. And the Ministry of Youth Development is fully committed to driving this process. Let this not just remain a beautiful document that cannot be worked with. Let it be something that we can all take and implement. That is what is expected from this workshop. Because we have a lot of beautiful documents and policy documents that are just there. They're just lying there. And they cannot be implemented. We don't want this to become one of it. We trust that your expertise will help in bringing out a workable and realistic document that we can all use. I commend the FCTO Live Here program for their continued support to the Ministry of Youth Development and for working with us on this journey to secure a brighter future for Kaduna State. I also thank all participants for your dedication to this cause. As we begin this workshop, I encourage all of us to approach the session with an open mind, a collaborative spirit, and a shared determination to make Kaduna State a model for demographic dividend utilization in Nigeria. Thank you all, and I wish you all a successful and productive deliberation. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. And Honorable Commissioner made a very important point. point about not just developing beautiful documents and allowing them to end up on bookshelves. And that is critical because this is one that is central to why government exists. Because government exists to invest in the welfare and security of the people. And if there's a roadmap that really outline how government should intentionally and deliberately invest in its people, this is one document that talks about. And statistics continue to look us in the face. And based on this roadmap, we have seen that out of every 10 person you see in Kaduna State, according to this document, 8 are below 40 years. Similarly, out of every 10 you see in Kaduna State, 5 are below 17 years. So if we have this kind of data, because at the end of the day, they say if you fail to plan, you turn to fail. And so if government is going to do any planning or budgeting, these are the kind of data that should drive their decision making process. There's nothing new in this document. A lot of the things in this document are already what your various MDAs are implementing. However, what we are advocating for with having this implementation plan is to ensure that you're more deliberate, you're more intentional when you're planning and when you're budgeting in Kaduna State so that we're able to harness this very youthful population that we have. And the critical question for all of us is that between the next 25 to 30 years, all of us will go back to the dependent population. So if you don't empower the population that is coming behind you, that means that you would have nobody to take care of you. And that is basically what demographic is championing. And that is why we are not just here to develop a framework, usual academic exercise of whatever we put in this document is what can reflect or affect the livelihoods of people. And also when you look at our children and the issues that affect them in terms of mortality, access to education, healthcare, and all of that. So this for me is a very, very important event because government officials are very, very important. The work government officials do is the work of life and death. Because if somebody will go to a hospital, is not able to get quality healthcare that will keep that person alive, then it means that it is also on the head of the person that is supposed to ensure that those services are available. Similarly, if a child is supposed to have quality education so that he can productive of society and he doesn't get, when the child becomes a kidnapper because he has lost hope, then we end up all being the victims like we're facing. And that's basically what we are going to be doing. We are going to be looking at the implementation plan like I've seen the objectives, to see how comprehensive it is. And for because we don't want it to be like any other law that just allow it to the academic exercise. We want to see that there are clear alignments with the state development plan and the agenda of the correct administration. Earlier, I made some statements where I said there are components that might not be in line with the current administration's priorities. So while developing this plan, we need to ensure that those alignments are clearly put in place. Also, because we understand that government is focusing on rural transformation. So how do we ensure that children, youth in rural areas, their interests, their aspirations are clearly captured in this document? And M&E document is critical. M&E experts will say what is not measured. What's the word, sir? They say what is not measured is not achievable. So what cannot be measured cannot be achievable, right? So definitely as we do the work, there's always a tendency that the prioritization of this roadmap can be lost because we have so many work we are doing. However, with an M&E framework, it's easier for us to track and be able to even draw lessons and learnings that can be applied in further implementation. And however, for this document to be implemented, there needs to be ownership. And this ownership has to do with a multi-sectorial approach. That is, both those on the government side and those on the non-state actor side must take ownership of this document for it to be effectively implemented. So we believe that in this engagement, we'll begin to have that shared knowledge, shared understanding, and clearly know what role each partner is expected to play in ensuring that this document is effectively implemented. Last is to build our capacity. So there will be a lot of learnings from the presentations that will be happening that I am sure further strengthen the capacity of the participants. So thank you very much. These are just the objectives. The Honorable Commissioner had already read them, so there was no need for me to read them again. And this is what we hope that on Sunday, possibly by 5 p.m., we would have achieved all of these 4 objectives as we have them. So, so next on our agenda is the goodwill messages. And I don't know, possibly after the goodwill messages, we would go for a group picture before coming back for the technical session. But we also want to hear from the Honorable Commissioner because she said she might not stay with us till the end. So we would probably get some more thoughts and ideas from her before she leaves so that we are able to incorporate all that she's doing. So, so thank you very much. We would like to invite, we will do Lafia last with the goodwill message. We would like to invite the Kaduna State Planning and Budget Commission to start that. Then we'll take the Bureau of Statistics. Then we come back to Lafia program. So over to you.
Okay, good morning once again. It's an honor to be part of this session, and what I want to specifically draw the attention of the participant is that we should look at this beyond the academic exercise which the Honorable Commissioner has mentioned. Secondly, we should also come up with an open mind. There is no any other person that will provide information as to achieve these 4 objectives except all the participants that are here. And the selection has been carefully done in such a way that each and every participant here has a unique role to play in actualizing these 4 objectives. So on this, I call on each and every one of us to be committed and also be open to provide all necessary information that is required to deliver on this objective. I wish us successful deliberation throughout the 3 days. Thank you.
So we invite the Bureau of Statistics.
So the Honorable Commissioner, the Permanent Secretary, and all other participants here, good morning once again. My name is Joseph Mumba. I'm standing in for the Statistician General of Kaduna State. So on behalf of the Commissioner of, of the Statistician General, we want to congratulate the ministry. You know, as we said in the beginning, we in Bureau of Statistics, we are a service providing agency in the Kaduna State. And thank God we've already started engaging with the ministry on how we can work together to achieve their mandate and ours too. And as we all know, we in Bureau of Statistics, our strength come from collaboration with all other sister agencies in the Kaduna State. And at this junction, on behalf of the Secretary General, I want to congratulate all of us and say that she wish all of us a successful deliberation. At the end of it, we'll have what all of us in Kaduna State will be proud of. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, good morning all. Yes, the Honorable Commissioner, good morning, ma'am. The Honorable Pamsec, welcome, sir. Yeah, once again, I will say we've met again, ma. Yes, we've been working together for a while now, for like almost a month now. So I would like to appreciate your commitment towards achieving DDR in Kaduna State. So thank you for your commitment, ma. So good morning, I will say members of the ministry, representatives of the ministries, agencies. Thank you for coming. For we Lafia, we feel it's an opportunity for us to explore, and with your commitment before and now and in the future, Lafia has been able to thrive in Kaduna State successfully. It's largely because of your commitment. You've accepted the program wholeheartedly, and that's why we are here at this juncture. So, uh, developing M&E framework for DDR in Kaduna State is key because I don't think any other state have this initiative reach this level. So we would like to appreciate your effort, and I believe that we are going to have a very robust document for the state. So we are not just only having a robust document. I think we'll have the smooth implementation of it by God's grace. So your expertise, your effort, these are things just like the way Gojo mentioned. These are things we are doing already. But most agencies and ministries don't know that this thing is actually happening. So if we get to understand what we need to track or how we need to push for it, it will give us more better result in our implementation. So for Lafia, I would like to welcome all of us and thank you for your time and for your effort and your commitment in advance. So thank you for your timing, for our invitation, even though it's not our invitation alone, it's from the Ministry for Youth. Thank you, Ma, for your commit for collaborating with Lafia. And you are all welcome. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So thank you very much, Happy. So before the group picture, we want to make a presentation from Hajia Amina from the Kaduna State Bureau of Statistics, so that everyone in the room is on the same page around the demographic dividend roadmap. They were leading in the development of the document, so there is no better agency of government to make the presentation. Please let's appreciate her. As
Good morning once again. The Honorable Commissioner, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Youth Development, my senior colleagues, and partner. Good morning. So, before I will start my presentation, I just want to take us back on the issue of demographic dividend in Kaduna State. This document has been there in Kaduna State even beyond 2020. There was a DD that was developed in 2019. And last year, with the support of Life Year, we updated the report to align with current situation in the state. So demographic dividend, as we all know, already when we have already had MIE framework. The roadmap is for the implementation, but as we all know that this DD is not only for the youth, it's for the whole state. But what we are doing here is for how can we align the DD to tailor to youth. We know that more than 80% of our population is non. So how do we align this DD to be able to speak to youth, and how can we enhance this pandemic we are approaching? So that's why we are here to be able to look at the DD on itself and see how we streamline to what Ministry of Youth Development can champion and lead together with other agencies. Because Ministry of Youth cannot work without the support of this MDA here. So next slide, please. So for this DD, we have the DD report, the main report, which has all the indices around the pillar of the DD. But we had another report again, the roadmap. How do we translate what is in the DD to be able to work? And we have the MOU framework. And this is what we are going to upload to tailor it to the DD. So the report for the DD is explore the potential of Kaduna State to enhance demographic dividend, highlighting key challenges, opportunities related to youth, women, governance, and economic empowerment. Um, we will all know that an opportunity can something that we can grab, as well as opportunity can be a challenge to us. So this demographic dividend is not only done in Nigeria, it's done globally. The United Nations population, there is UNFPA champion it at the national. The national has the DD as the national, but they don't even have it. It's relying to sector as we are doing what the Latvia is supporting. Some country like the Singapore and other countries use this DD. That's why they are working very. They use the analysis of. Okay. So sorry. So they use that in order to make their economic work. Next slide, please. What's my next slide? Pardon? Yes, okay. So what do we mean by DD? The definition. DD refers to the economic growth potential that arises from changes in population, age structure, particularly when the working age population is larger than the dependent population. When we go through the slide, you can be able to understand what we mean by this structure. So, entirely, this demographic dividend is looking at the age structure. That is number one. We are looking at mortality of the country. On this now, we are talking about Kaduna State. What is the rate of mortality in Kaduna State? What is the age distribution structure? We talk about the age pyramid. We are talking about gender. We are talking about working population and dependence. Working population here, we know that for Nigeria, when you are 18 years to which year? 60, you are working, and it's time to. But in when we look at the demographics of Kaduna State, we find out that majority of the population, we have 53% of our population, they are young 80 years. 53%. We have over almost 80% of our population is beyond 40 years. So Kaduna State population is youth population. So anything that will enhance, coordinate the youth activity of the state, I believe is should be the number one priority, because most of the population are within that. So when we talk about the dependents population, we have anybody beyond that 18, they are dependents. Anybody above 60 are dependent population. Which percentage are we talking about? We are talking about young percentage. When you look at the 15 years downward, you find out they are 53% of our population, meaning you are working with a lot of people to certain limited number of people. So this demographic dividend is working to enhance, look at all the indices from the age structure, the working population, and see what are the opportunity, what are the strengths, what are the weakness. How can we use the opportunity to be able to um, empower our youth? How can we use this opportunity to be able to translate production? So this is what everything about the DD. So we have a lot of indicator that we are looking at what happened in that 2019 as well as what happened beyond that is after the COVID 2023, 2024. You find out so many indices are going back. So many. So if we didn't do anything, um, we are bound to have a lot of problems. That's why we're having problem of food security, because most of this are depending on these little people to be able to cater for them. Next slide. So the score for DD are 4. But for this report, we focuses on population dynamics, economic potential growth, youth inclusion, and governance strategies for the government. Next, please. So for the key finding in terms of the population growth and structure, as I said, we have population and Kaduna state population is about 10.7 million. This 10.7 million in 2023 projected to 12.9 million by the time, because we did this DD to be able to project up to 2030, to be able to align with the sustainable development goal. So by the time we reach 2030, we'll be having about 2.9 million population. And as I said, this population, 53.5 on they are dependent population. And dividend of demographic dividend window opened in 1996. That's why you see countries Singapore that and use it in order to be able to make their economy grow. That's why, like in Canada now, you can see a lot of people they are focusing for people to come to their country because they are defenders. Because most of the we have age population, there is no a lot of people to work in our country. But we have opportunity in Nigeria where we have almost 80% of our population are beyond 40. What can we use to be able to use that opportunity and see that the youth, as Mr. Kojo was speaking about, they are not going to be wayward. They let that youth be focused, be productive, they will contribute to the GDP of Kaduna State. And when the youth are engaged, you can see insecurity and everything will be much more reduced. Next slide. So over the year in Kaduna State, current age distribution, we have 16.5% they are under five population. But I know for the Ministry of Youth, you are talking about youth. This one is, but you can see we have a high rate of fertility in Kaduna State, meaning a lot of women. Average fertility rate for Kaduna State is 5. Averagely, a woman can be able to deliver 5 children. But when you go down granularly to local government, find out some local government will have fertility rates up to 9, 10, meaning some areas, some location, people are doing much. what social intervention and everything can be able to keep those people, education, health, and the rest. You need to plan. And for high, we have high dependency ratio. So for the dependency ratio, total dependency ratio in Kaduna State is 101, 1%. Averagely, 1% is catering for more than 121% in Kaduna. So you can see that's why a lot of when we take our salary, our at the end of the day, we say we're not able to do the ones. Because you have sisters, you have children, you have this, you have. So we have total dependency ratio 151. Youth dependency ratio, we have 140. And when you look at the elderly dependent ratio, it's 7.01. It's clear because the population is more of youth than the elderly. So what can we do? Number one is that um, this population is an opportunity that we have this youthful population. But how can we enhance it to make this youth to be potential? That is why this report is presenting the key indices for us as a sector, as Kaduna State government, as the citizen, the private sector. We are all for Kaduna. If anything that happens, it will not go for government, it will go for everybody. And that's why we are so suffering. So we need to look at this and see what activity, what intervention, what program can we put in place to be able to reduce this dependence. So next slide, please. These are the population. You can see the way the population is going for Kaduna State for the next 100 years. The population is not going down at all. It's going up every day. So that's why even the DD is not only for us to be able to do it now. I know we will be having MIE framework that will be guiding for 3 years. DD is supposed to be developed every 5 years so that we can look at evaluate what we have done, what we have achieved, what can we change, what can we improve, what can we drop in order for us to be able to enhance the opportunities and to mitigate the challenges that is bringing. Because it has high rate of opportunity as well as the challenges. Next, please. So key challenges, education. Education play a high important in terms of human capital development because a child that is educated, even to do some certain things, he will not do it. When somebody is educated, he can be empowered easily. He can be motivated easily. But dealing with somebody that is illiterate is the most difficult thing to do. But when you have somebody that is educated, you can be able to change his thinking way. Maybe for him, you can show him you can do this to improve yourself first, not even the society. And anyone that improve one person, you know that you are improving the society because you teach one if he's educated, another can get something from him. So education gap, we have high level of out of school children. We are doing mapping currently. We find out before you have a lot of people that have never been to school, and with the age of they have that age between 6 to 17 years that is supposed to be in school. They have never gone to school. But now when we're doing mapping, we find out that we have over 40% of those people to drop out. Meaning a lot of people are going to school as well as dropping out of school, which is what do we call it? Somebody that is not fully educated, halfway, can be much more dangerous. So we have a big challenge in terms of education. We are not only talking at the out of school that they have never been to school, we are talking of out of school that they have dropped. That is another way. Then the health issue. How many people have access to affordable health services? These are, and somebody, you can't have a background people that they are not, they have health issue. You know, you cannot walk to some extent. You cannot, what are they calling? You can't walk because if you are sick, you cannot walk. So we have a lot of children that they don't have access to this health facility. Even though there is a lot of facility around our community, but how affordable that we have, Mr. Gideon is here. We have over how many percent for those people paying out? It's so a lot of family go into poverty. So a lot. Some people sell their houses, sell so many things in order to access health. So health is another key factor that should be looked upon to. Then we talk about the employment. Unemployment, even though the methodology that was given by the National Bureau of Statistics has given the unemployment indices to be on the high side, but practically we all know that it's not, because in the methodology they said if you work with even 24 hours, you are employed. That's why the unemployment grew higher. But we all know it's not like that. So unemployment is another key into this demographic dividend, because demographic dividend internationally it has four pillars. It has the health, education, governance, as well as empowerment. Empowerment. When you address these four, you are addressing human capital development. Next, please. So these are the thematic areas I said on this, under governance and accountability. If there is not a good leadership, there is no coordination. That's why for this, for the youth-centric DD, we are talking about Ministry for Youth Development. For health, health must drive it. Ministry of Youth cannot drive health component. For education, education must drive it. Ministry for Youth cannot drive for education. That's why you are here. What activity, what can you do to be able to reduce this issue of education? For empowerment, we talk about business innovation, we talk about agri, and other sector, the CASIPA, the what are they calling, the social intervention. They are all part of this economic empowerment, which all of us, it's not only Ministry of Agriculture, Business Innovation. They need to come together to see how can they reduce this. And when we are talking about youth, we are not only talking about youth as we are talking about youth, women as well. Next one. So as I explained, these are the pillars of the DD. The education, skill and development, health, well-being, security and justice, governance and accountability, economic empowerment. Because if there is no peace, all this cannot stand. And if there is no health, all this cannot stand. And if we are all illiterate, all this cannot be achieved. And if there is no leadership, we cannot achieve this. So you can see this pillar is not by step, it's by run. So we all need to come together to be able to achieve for Kaduna State. Next, please. So actionable action. In the what Mr. Gojo was talking about, in the last time we have the KIF, that is the Kashim Ibrahim Fellow, which is there to help issue of the human capital development. We have the data science fellowship that is being currently running by the Kaduna State Bureau of Statistics, and we have other um, 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 all these kind of things that is being done by business innovation, the CAT, the ICT, they are running a lot of youth intervention. So I believe for Ministry of Youth Development, you need to create something that will help in terms of addressing even maybe skill development activity that will address, because we have more than how many percent. So one agency, one sector cannot do it alone. All of us will need to come together so that we can be able to reduce the number. Then we to increase public-private partnership. This thing cannot be done alone by government. Private partnership needs to come. That's why for you, from your ministry, you need to start having a lot of engagement with all these partners that this component of you, how we can come together. Because most of the times when we even from this data agency, when you have fragmentation, you have problem. There should be a coordination of certain activity. If you can take that lead to be able to coordinate, most of the time you see a intervention coming, you put it in the same place where this social organization is rendering that service. But if there is a coordination, you can be able to allocate where it's supposed to. These are the methodology we use. I think I don't really want to bother you on the issue of the this. This is the methodology we use in analyzing, putting the demographic dividends. Next, please. So for this I'm trying. We try to connect the road DD as well as the roadmap. But we have presentation that we already align where Ministry of Youth are coming for the next. This, so from this DD, we talk about this four pillar. We all know that Ministry of Youth and anything that has a relation with the youth is very, very in demographic, very, very key. When you demographic dividend, it's only talking about um, the demographic structure of this state. So for the Ministry of Youth Development, we all know that we have this youth. We all of us will be talking about it, so we don't need to um, go into that. But the priority focus, skill, as I said, skill program. Skill program is one of the key things that Ministry of Youth Development has. We are developing this implementation framework for the deed that we should be focusing on. Youth enterprises, when we talk about the economic aspect of it, then targeting health and well-being intervention and institutionalizing youth participation across planning and budget commission. For Ministry of Youth, to start with, I believe when you talk about youth, you need to have the youth working with you. If there is no representation of that youth in the ministry, I don't think we get what we want. So for a start, to have youth working in the Ministry of Youth, their representation is very key. Even from our own um, what are the suggestions. We are advocating as the Minister of Youth to advocate for all the sector to be able to employ more youth. Let's have, because even in our own MDAs, you find out that there are a lot of people going. That knowledge, everything is there, there is no transition. There is no transition, we all know that. Last year, Jigawa state government came in with a data to us that they said they don't have people working their state. A lot of people are retiring, and there is no transition. And they are most of them in the MDA, you find out they are above level 10, 12, 15, 16 to do then analysis and bring out what can they do, what can it be done for Jigawa State to be able to function very well. So for Ministry of Youth, I think the number one thing before, I know we'll be talking about it in the group, but we need to talk about it here, is for the state government to see the needs to employ people across. And when you are employing, it's not to employ at the same time. You segment the employment so that at the end of the day, you find out what's happening now is that a lot of people are employed at the same time. They are going at the same time. Next slide. So we talk about the population. We talk about this growth intensified demand for service and job. That's why we're talking about employment. Because I know the private sector, the government, if the two come together to have this partnership, most of these establishment, private establishment in Kaduna State, Kaduna State should have a policy that any person building or establishing a business in Kaduna State has some certain percentage for the state to be able, for them to be able to employ. It's very key, and this should be championed by the Ministry of Youth so that they can. That's what the South and the rest are doing. They are demanding. You need to demand. Next, Usman. So we talk about the age structure. 83.8% of the population is under 40. So if we are to address this, we need to do this aggressively. We need to have policy pronunciation by the government and the rest to be able to help this. And the private, if we are to achieve it, private sector needs to come in very well in order to reduce this kind of the number we are having. Then we talk about dependency ratio. Go to the next slide. This one will just sip from the DD to look at what affects the Ministry of Youth Development. So overall unemployment in 2020, as I said, is 2.6. But we all know it's not like that because this methodology is talking about you only work in 24 hours. Whether you are employed, underemployed, underemployed, you all follow this. So unemployment is 2.7 because of the methodology. Informal employment account for 95.6%. So you can see the government employment is very, very, very. We only have 12.6% for the government. All 7.4% are coming from the private sector. So if there is that collaboration, that synergy, that policy, it can be able to improve that. Those people that are in this 7.4%, some of them are underemployed. Very, very. Their status can be improved. Youth labor force between 15 to 24 participation is 73.1%. So you can see a lot of this within the employment status are youth. So youth end employment is 3.4%. And means that is not in education, employment, and training at 10.3%. They are not in anywhere. They are not in education, they are not in employment, they are not on training. They are 10.3. So you can see the issue of the dependency, the issue, they are not doing anything. So what are they doing? We all know where some of them are. So health and human capital constraint. Key health problems that affect youth productivity include maternal and child mortality, when you talk about women, because even when you look at the maternal mortality, you find us a lot of women when giving birth, some of them die at their first delivery. And this entail with it's not only for the women as well as the children that they are about bringing them to the world. You find out we have more than what we did general household in 2020. We have 152 that die in 1,000 delivery. 52. That is under 5. Go to the next. So implication for the anyway, I already talked about some of it. Is that for the Ministry of Youth Development is to equip youth with market aligned skill. It's not only to have skill development programs. Are those skill development program marketable? That they can be self-sufficient. When you train somebody, can be self-sufficient. He can go so that government cannot employ everybody. The private sector market cannot employ everybody. Catalyzes enterprises and formulation. Then expand financial inclusion. That's why the Ministry of Finance is here. Ministry of Youth needs to work with all the agencies they are into financial inclusion to work together, to be able to speak to them, to analyze what they have done, to see that how the intervention is it equally equitable distributed. It's very, very key. We have ASIPA, we have what is the name of the agency for development? We have SOCO. We have a lot of this intervention. Minister of Youth needs to work with them to be able to get all these agencies and to be able to advise further what where they can allocate their services. Then invest in youth health and participation. Mr. Gideon is here. Last week, we disseminated health facility census, where we have ratio for doctor to population more than how many? More than 10,000 plus. And the indices of the doctor we are having is always going down. So if a way can be done through youth for them to go into education, to be doctor, nurses, and the rest, these are where we have a lot of gap. Kaduna State can be through your office, through the scholarship board, to be able to sponsor a lot of people for education. That's what Kano are doing. You find out a lot of you see a small boy, less than 40, he's already a doctor. Not even in medical. They have PhD. They have this. So we talk about the skill and I don't know, we share this with uh, Ministry of Youth, but youth innovation hubs is very critical. I know Kaduna has some, but it's not efficient. We need to have this located across even local government, not only zone, to start establishing something. Every year, maybe we'll do this, we'll do that, so that we can have a lot of places where people are getting skills. The issue of those 10% we talk about on the needs targeted fast track scheme, outreach, conditional stipends for them. like what is happening in Asia, to bring in girls in the school and they are paying them some certain thing. I know one of the key barrier, one of the key challenge in terms of achieving this is poverty. What can it be done to reduce that to the people? Next, Ms. talking about entrepreneurship, job creation. So on this, we'll talk about even the Ministry of Business Innovation, Ministry of Agri. There's a lot of intervention that is going on for women, women empowerment, not itself employment. When you collaborate with Ministry of Business Innovation, Ministry of Agri and the sector, you see what intervention can be given to these youth for them to be self-sufficient. They can be able to produce farming and this. The health, we talk about it, we bring out all those four pillars to bring out the solution that can be given to them. So I know that go back. We did a study just last month for mental health. We find out that a lot of people are thinking of suicide. A lot, because some of them are depressed. We just look at those women that give birth, that's all, within their ages of 18 perinatal. You will find out a lot of people are going to suicide and depression. That's why we are having a lot of things. Sometimes people kill people you don't know, they kill themselves. So mental health is very, very key when addressing this kind of issue. And we are talking about youth. When you have a child, a boy telling you that he doesn't even know what to do, he said it's this and that. The issue of drugs, we know what is happening. We know how women are even using all these drugs in their own houses. So for the Ministry of Youth, you need to partner with Kasemsa. It was formerly Kambusa, to be able to work with to enhance this issue of health, work with Ministry of Health to see what intervention, what activity can be done in order to reduce these indices. Next. Then the financial inclusion and livelihood. We have a lot of, even the governor is one of his key priorities. So you need to key in into all these things so that not only for those people to be doing on what percentage is the youth, how can a youth benefit on this? Next, governance and youth. So as I said, we are doing some fellowship, but for institutionalization, youth should be having a seat even in during the budget through planning and budget commission to have maybe um, OGP and the rest, youth representative. What's a percentage of the budget goes to the youth? And let them be part of those that monitor the implementation of that. You know, when they are party to it, they can be able to educate their fellow youths on what government, their intent and everything. Because you find out even we are doing a lot of study, you find out some youth, their notion, their perception on government people is different. So there is a need for Ministry of Youth for sensitization, advocacy for this youth to be able to, so that they can use their time, use their energy in the right channel. Next, inclusion, security, and vulnerability. We all know what is happening. A lot of percentage of this issue of security are coming from the youth. So, and the security people are here. We don't need to start talking about security to know what is happening. But I know before we used to have a data every month on security from internal security. what is happening, what is this, flashing point, and the rest. These are what Ministry of Youth is to talk to internal security to be able to collaborate. So that some of the hubs, some of the skill center can be built in some of these areas for them to be engaged, for them to be sensitized, for them to be educated. So you work in collaboration with internal security as well as the human services, the humanitarian, they all come here. So partnership, financing, and delivery, as we said. I know over the years, some of the, like Adipa, we collaborate to analyze issue of summit, issue of goods. Maybe for the Ministry of Youth, you need to have youth summit. Youth summit in the sense that it will bring all the mover and shaker in that so that you can be able to map out your partner to work with. What intervention are they doing? The MDA, what can you, so that for youth aspect, you have the coordination, you know what is happening in all the sector. You can be able to even do your plan. You can even monitor what they are doing. So we give some of them, partner with the PBC, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Agri, that is on the government part, Kadipa, FCDO. FCDO is only like we have plane, we have the fees, we have a lot of partners that they are into that. We then UNFPA. UNFPA have a company of their project on adolescent too. You can collaborate with them. World Bank, private sector, and field tech. Then financing option, blended finances, state government, donor. You know, most of the time, even the partner, they need to know what do you bring so that they can support it. Even what can you do? You know, most of the time they don't go to things that they don't know what they want to do. So you need to have a framework, guideline, policy, plan that anybody come in, this is my plan, this is how can you come into it, how can we partner to achieve this. Then implementation modalities, use youth hub as a delivery platform, skill plus health plus finance, data driven and targeting, register youth beneficiaries, integrate. This one, the reason why we are talking about, when you have information, even the partner need you to have information of where you are coming, where you are, where you want to be, so that they can be able to check. Then set of result unit to monitor KPI from your MD, because it's not only to do the framework, it's not only to do the MIE. Somebody needs to be tasked to monitor it and track the progress. And also, my guy is going to do the presentation that is aligned to this. How can it, so that it will not deviate from what the government said there. The monitoring and evaluation, the templates will be shared for it so that we can be able to. That one is one we have done for the DD, but we can look at it as a sector to see what can we integrate based on what we are doing in our sector. See how can we improve on the templates? How can we create the indicator? How can we track it? This is what we're going to do in the next 2 days to that will have two documents, one for the implementation, two for the M&E framework. So the Kaduna State Youth Burger Strategy, I said, we targeted investment in skill, enterprise, health, inclusion, and governance. Ministry of Youth can convert demographic potential into sustained economic gain. And this is all what we are aspiring And with the coming of the Ministry of Youth, now we pray we succeed together. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I strongly believe that my first question I asked about how many people know about it would strongly believe that if we should set the jump exams, we we are sure that everybody will get 300, 400 scores. All right. Is that
Last time.
That's actually
Yana da kira ko?
that's it?
Oh.
Right. So thank you very much. I think this will put your eyes in know I want to explain that the news have a central
Oh.
only areas that not directly look at you. It has indirect connection with you because what demographic evidence is also talking about is the situation where the fertility rate is reduced so that you have the more of the working age. But what if you are going to achieve that, then there needs to the sexual and reproductive behavior of youth needs to be really put in place. If not, that will be a challenge because if you go to most rural areas, find out that youth people to marry at an earlier age. So once you don't catch them at that level, you'll be doing policy at the top while you're doing mass production at grassroots. So youths have critical role to play. And if you look at the mandate of the ministry, it provides that oversight function in terms of youth intervention. So anything that has to do with policy or coordinating any youth empowerment program state is directly put in the hands of the ministry. So that means any MTA in Kaduna State that is doing any youth empowerment program should be working with the ministry, and the ministry should have all data on such interventions. So thank you very much, Shatia, for the presentation. But we don't know how we'll be going for prayers by one. So we'll need to take comments and feedback. Then the commissioner will give us the last word. Then we go for group picture. Then people can go and pray. We all agree with that. All right. So while the Pam said is speaking, please let's take the number of. No, what they are saying is that when they make their comments, then you talk, then the commissioner speaks first. And that's what they are saying. Yes. So, but if he has an important comment, I think yes.
Oh, wait.
Yes,
Yeah. It's a very, very rich so thank you very much, madam. It's true that all you have said, but Ministry of Youth Development, all these things that you are talking about, we have the data, we have the everything on them. But are we used to be contacted by respective MDS? That is the number one matter because first and foremost, our mandate, Kaduna State mandate that has to do with all these agencies and ministries, there is need of review, actually, because there are a lot of mix. So I'm not trying to condemn the government, but we are here to have a solution to our problems. Am I right? Go, if I can give an example, you see, these are MDIT. They are the one in charge of something that has to do with skills. But where did they used to get the resources, the manpower? They should supposed to have contact us so that we can give them. We have our YDOs, that is Youth Development Officers across the 23 local government. All this data we have them. If one died today, we will have the record. But are they of useful by the appropriate authorities? That is one. Also, Misha, they used to employ all these caddies. They used to employ all these custodians. Where did they get them from? Whereby we have our own record. I hope I am talking sense. Going by Agri, they even finished their summit about 2, 3 weeks ago. There was no even invitation to my commissioner. Whereby we're having our program that we call it Youth in Agriculture. What do you want us to do? Look at my neighbor, Ministry for Local Government. They are doing operations after. Where did they get this all these youth that they are doing operations after? We had never collected even a single circular that this thing is going on. So to me, I'm not saying no, it's true, but have you used to be contacted? That is the major problem. And going by recruitment is true, but also something needs to be done there. If I may give example, I used to make that example all the time. In our Ministry of Finance, then we recruit about 50 staff. I am sure now we don't have up to 20. Why? Because of the nature of the payment. They all run away. So this is the point I am trying to make a contribution before we go into the actual why we are here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that perspective, Permanent Secretary. Okay, so we have a few minutes to one. So please, we need to, yes, manage. Yes.
Sir, for your ministry, I know it's a new ministry now, but the ministry of labor that's agenda or something, but it's the ministry to go to them. You need to do this visit to all these LADB, telling them this is your mandate, this is what you do, this is commissioner to release. Go to them, discuss with the commissioner, the mandate. You so we this still or you all of planning and budget send them to us. We need to go as a team, running with them, see so arrange spend 2 weeks. Then you see results.
Yes, so thank you very much, Hajia. And I think that is also because the ministry is just coming on board. For many years, the ministry, the department has been kept in the side. And if you look at even the ministry's mandate, there's a mandate to establish and sustain synergy with MDAs, NGOs, and all of that. So I strongly believe that as the ministry stays longer, we can achieve that. Yes. So we'll take quick, straight questions. Let's just ask the question. The explanation we can do it when we come to the question. But just ask the question directly because we want the Honorable Commissioner to say our last word before we go for prayer. So we'll just indicate. All right, I'll start from front here. 1, 2. Any hands again? Comment or question? So we have 3. While Zeilani is still thinking. All right, so we'll take the 3 questions. Okay, 4. All right, so we'll start with.
Okay, thank you. Let me start with the concern of the Permanent Secretary. You are once a civil servant, you are still a civil servant. And, what is normally the public service is that if there is a new established MPA in the state. People may not want, even when that function that they are doing, but another ministry has been established. They don't want to let that function to go. Then what you need to start with, you need to be there physically, just like what the advice has been provided. Yourself, your commissioner and key staff. You talk commissioner to commissioner, farm sec to farm sec. In first instance, you now go with the pace of collaboration. You are not taking the job. When the game goal is started, they will know who is statutorily supposed to handle that. Then you take over your job. But as instance, you will never get this as easy as you think. They will allow it to go. You also mentioned of the review. This is something that is required, but this is something that will take time. And you will not wait until the mandate has been reviewed for other MPAs before the last functioning as an MPA. So please, my advice is for you to first go with the pace of collaboration. Then secondly, I don't want commissioner to leave without, I just want to reiterate on what some key issues the first presentation that was made. The first one is we are talking about dependent population. And if we are talking about dependent population, we are all witnessing some kind of dependency in our respective group, and we know who are constituting that. And for us to take that out of Kaduna, I think is the responsibility of Ministry of Youth. Because if you are counting the percentage of this dependency, for me, I can say 100%. 100% of this dependency ratio are you. So I want Honorable Commissioner with your team, then the ministry to start thinking, what can you do to at least take this youth from this dependency? Because whatever that the state is doing in terms of improving life standard in the state without reducing this dependency ratio, one back 500,000, you still have increasing number of dependency ratio. It will not get anywhere. So let's start from some short-term programs, just like what the presenter mentioned. They are doing data science fellowship. You can start doing something. 6 months, you graduate them, then they go. At least this is the way to go. I think you need to partner with Bureau of Statistics to get a lot of data that you can produce a position paper. What provide? This is the way the ministry wants to go in terms of getting. And succeed, there is data that is but you need to collaborate with statistics to provide you sufficient data to make your claims, and then we move forward.
Thank you very much. The passion with which Oga Badamasi was talking about dependency, it shows that his salary is here in the heat. Yeah, so please, Honorable Commissioner, I would appreciate if you help that. So I would like to go to number two.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Well, the Honorable Commissioner, I think from the presentations that was made, I want to re-emphasize that the only solution today, really, to youth dependency is skill. Many innovations and initiatives have been put in place by the National Board for Technical Education, and also in collaboration with Kaduna State Government, Obasani have produced one of the best skill city hub in the entire Africa region. So the Soba Rigachukun Samarin Kataf skill acquisition centers that you are seeing are more equipped than the entire polytechnics in Nigeria. So I think yes. So I think and recently, just yesterday, the Kaduna South local government chairman Young Hussein started setting the pace to consolidate what the governor is doing in terms of skill. So I think where the Honorable Commissioner of Youth should come in is how can you reach out to all these 23 local government chairmen to see that they have established skill centers in their various respective local government areas, and they should equip that local government skill centers, and also put in place quality assurance assessor and internal quality assurance managers on the national skills qualification. Because what are the days when politicians do skill empowerment without proper certification? Today, Honorable Commissioner, today, all these tailors and plumbers can travel overseas with NSQ certification. But the problem is they are being wrongly executed. So I think the palm sector is because he's a very good Cristiano Ronaldo in politics. That's why he's missing some things. I know him to be a very excellent person in politics. But the palm sector needs to, under the honorable commissioner, need to reach out to this chairman. Let them start doing something, because no matter what the state government is doing, if the local government chairman are not actually stepping it down with their resources, will not see much of the impact. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you very much. Aleka autonomy. So we have, before coming back, we have number 3. It's working.
Okay, thank you very much. A nice presentation. I enjoyed the presentation. And Pamsek, you made mention of something. Well, while she was making the presentation, and then she talked about Jigawa, when she talked about there's this gap, people are going for retirement, and nobody to sit in the gap. And then the commissioner started something, and he didn't finish it. He said, when they employed people when he was while he was with the Ministry of Finance, about 30% or so, he said that 50% ran away. 50%. 50. Okay. The issue is this, sir. Budget. Thank God you're here. How do we bridge the gap? When we look at Kaduna State, I've discussed with some that retired as PAM secretary, managing directors of different agencies. This is what they said. Some said that they started from the scratch. That's after secondary school. And here in Kaduna State, now we're having something. Mode of employment, you have to be a graduate. So now level 1 to 6 is no longer there. So like in my place of work, sometimes we used to sit down and said, a time will come, there'll be a glut. There'll be a glut. So there'll be a problem. But had it been, you bring back that issue, you talk about now, had it been now that time we employ level 1 or 6, they will be trained in the job, and then they'll be growing up. They will not run away. So now is the issue. You have to budget now. I think this is why you need to work on that. We have to bridge that level of unemployment. This cadre from 1 to 6 need to be brought back. We need to bring it back. Exactly, sir. Executive cadre. We need to bring it back so that we will have people that will stay. They will train in the job, and they will become expert in the job. They will know a lot about the job. Now we're employing people that they will run away after 2 or 3 months because of pay. So, and based on what you said, and permanent secretary and the commissioner, is like your ministry have a lot to do based on this demography. It's everything. The ball is in your court. Wish you the very best. Thank you very much.
Good. So please, let's also, because of time, you can.
Good afternoon, everyone. My comments are actually general and also peculiar to the commissioner and the PAMSEC. You see, security is everyone's business, and we have about 15,000 personnel in the Kaduna State Vigilance Service, and they were volunteers, or mostly volunteers. Not until towards the last administration when we advised the commissioner then, Mr. Samuel Aron, that he should, why not the private securities in MDAs, they should be replaced with card-based. And it being volunteer job, most people, you find any kind of people there. So now we are ongoing verification and revalidation as well. But I think the Ministry of Youth should also take advantage of the National Youth Council under its ministry to maybe advise the government, maybe from the state, local government, and what level, let them have them in the security meeting, because National Youth Council as well, I know they have a spread across the 23 local government and the wards, whereby they can also help in getting information most especially around security to the local and state government. And also for the cadres, you find mostly the youth there are unskilled and they don't really have any alternative of doing any other job. So when the Ministry of Youth come into play, they can be able to now see that, okay, how will the ministry or the state add value to such kind of youth? Because in most cases, you see them being given 20 or 30,000, which we all know that is actually not realistic for their well-being. So I think when the Ministry of Youth comes in, you'll be able to see what's going on and you can advise. But I think you can start with the National Youth Council you have, advising local government chairmen to put them at the security meeting so that they can also add value in that aspect at the state level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We want to lastly, and then
Okay.
we round up this.
Okay, well done, everyone. It's really a nice presentation, and thank you for really stressing on youth participation. I'm glad that the conversation is coming up, and as a member of the Gen Z community, it's really interesting to see that this conversation is happening at this time. Well, we talk about financial inclusion, we discuss about accountability and other youth participation. And I'm just looking at this from the side of the Open Government Partnership, which is a permanent dialogue platform between the government and the citizens. And I really see a very great opportunity working together as partners with the Ministry of Youth. When we had the State Action Plan 3 developed, the Ministry of Youth was not on board. And then we also have been delivering a number of milestones with the Kaduna Social Investment Program Agency leading the government side of the technical working group. So, for example, the issue of tracking youth programs in the states, the inauguration of the youth program as well, which has been done. So I really see that we could work together. And one is that all the suggestions we have been making, how can we cooperate them into the monitoring and evaluation framework we'll be developing? And then secondly, as also we expand the State Action Plan 3, bringing all other milestones that speak directly to youth development, so that as we work together, we are also, these results are also being recognized at the global OGP level. Thank you very much.
I want to quickly advise.
Come on.
Come on.
Yes. So we want to, I hope the phone would be available, but we want to give the Honorable Commissioner the opportunity to make her comments on the presentation and possibly the feedbacks that has been given from all the participants, so that we quickly go for the group picture and the prayers together and launch if possible.
Good afternoon, everyone. Once more, thank you so much for the presentation. It was highly enlightening, and I learned a lot from it. And the comments, well, like you say, there's a new ministry, and there's a lot of things we've been grappling with, and there are a lot of things we are learning. But basically, the reason why we're in this room is because we are all partners in this. This is not the work just for the Ministry of Youth Development. And the development of Kaduna State Youth is not just for the Ministry of Youth Development. Like one of the contributors said, we have a lot of work cut out for us. I think it's not just the ministry that has a lot cut out, it's all of us. For us to be able to improve the livelihoods of the youths, of the populace of Kaduna State, all hands must be on deck. Everybody here is responsible. You cannot say because you're not a member of the Ministry of Youth, you're not responsible for the youths of Kaduna State. Whatever happens, whatever the youths of Kaduna State do affects all of us individually. So all of us are responsible, and all of us will have to collaborate. It's not an option. This collaboration is not an option. It's something all of us we have to come together to do together for the development of Kaduna State. So I want to say to you all that working with the Ministry of Youth Development Kaduna State is not an option. It's what all of us have to do. And when you go back to your MDAs, please tell your principals that we've been talking with them actually. We've been speaking, we've been trying to do the collaboration. But those of you that are here can re-emphasize it and make it louder. that this collaboration is very, very pivotal to the development of Kaduna State and for the youth of Kaduna State. We have seen some of you, we've come to some of the MDs. We are still going to come and we're going to keep talking. And for the civil society groups, we need to make some of these things louder. We need to amplify some of these issues we are seeing here. Because sometimes when we just talk here and keep quiet, it doesn't go beyond here. I was speaking with the media yesterday, some journalists, and I told them one of the problem we have is that some of the things that are being done is not heard outside. And until we go outside and amplify what we need to be done to help the youth, it may just be discussion we are having here. We need you to talk to your people also who can develop the youth, who can empower the youth. The government alone cannot empower the youth. Like somebody said, local governments are need to come up. Our political office holder also need to come up. And everybody, that's why I said it's the responsibility of everybody. So every one of us here is accountable, will be held accountable for the development of the youth of Kaduna State if we fail. So when we leave this place, let's live with the mindset that it is our collective responsibility. And we are going to improve on what she presented and try to implement what we can, but we will need your help. We need everybody's help in order to succeed. Thank you very much. Yes,